Most people believe success will solve their problems. They imagine that if they work harder, earn more, improve themselves, and finally achieve their goals, life will become easier. And in some ways, it does. But there is a hidden truth that few people talk about. Success does not only change your life, it changes the way other people see you. The moment you begin growing, something unexpected happens. Some people cheer for you, some people become inspired by you, and some people begin quietly resenting you. Not because you harmed them, not because you treated them badly, but because your success forces them to confront something uncomfortable inside themselves. The friend who once encouraged you suddenly becomes distant. The coworker who used to laugh with you starts criticizing small things. The people who said they wanted the best for you seem strangely silent when good things happen. At first it feels confusing, then it feels painful, because nothing hurts quite like realizing that your growth has exposed emotions in others that were hidden all along. And that is where this story begins. Not all envy is the same. In fact, there are two completely different forms of it. The first is healthy envy. Healthy envy sounds like this: if they can do it, maybe I can too. Instead of tearing someone down, it creates motivation. It pushes people to improve. It turns admiration into action. Healthy envy builds. But there is another type: malicious envy. This type thinks differently. If I cannot have it, they should not have it either. This is the envy that creates resentment. The envy that celebrates your mistakes. The envy that minimizes your achievements. The envy that quietly waits for you to fail. The dangerous thing is that both types often look similar at first. Both people may smile. Both may congratulate you. Both may act supportive, but one is inspired by your growth. The other is threatened by it. And the more successful you become, the easier it becomes to reveal which kind of envy people carry inside them. Success is not just an achievement. It is a spotlight, and spotlights reveal what darkness was hiding. Most people do not openly admit envy. Very few will ever say, "I am upset because your life is improving." Instead, envy wears disguises. It hides behind jokes, behind criticism, behind fake concern, behind advice nobody asked for. Why? Because envy creates shame. People want to believe they are kind, fair, supportive. Admitting envy would force them to acknowledge something they dislike about themselves, so the feeling stays hidden. And hidden emotions often become passive behavior. You may hear things like, "You're just lucky. Don't get too confident. Let's see how long this lasts." On the surface, these words sound harmless, but underneath them is a deeper message. A message that says, "I am uncomfortable with what your success says about me." The truth is that your growth creates a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see in that reflection. Some people see possibility, others see excuses, some see inspiration, others see their own unfulfilled potential. And when people refuse to face themselves, they often project their frustration onto the person who reminds them of it. Envy rarely arrives dramatically. It appears in small moments, moments that are easy to ignore. At first, you share good news. They change the subject. You achieve something important. They immediately point out a flaw. You make progress. They remind you of old mistakes. Notice what happens when people hear about your success. Do they become curious or defensive? Do they celebrate or compete? One of the clearest signs is selective enthusiasm. They support you when you struggle, but become uncomfortable when you rise. Another sign is constant comparison. Instead of appreciating their own path, they measure every step against yours. And eventually, your existence becomes a reminder of what they have not done. That is why some people become colder as you become stronger. It is not always because they dislike you. Sometimes it is because they dislike the emotions your success creates inside them. The tragedy is that many people destroy relationships trying to avoid confronting their own insecurities, and they never realize it. When you sense resentment, your first instinct may be to defend yourself, to explain, to justify your success, to prove you deserve what you earned. But this almost never works, because envy is not a logic problem. It is an emotional one. The more you argue, the more attention you give the conflict. The more attention you give the conflict, the stronger it becomes. Strong people understand something important. You cannot force someone to celebrate your growth. You cannot convince someone to stop feeling threatened. And you cannot heal insecurities that do not belong to you. Trying to win these battles often costs more energy than they are worth. Instead of fighting resentment, protect your focus. Instead of defending your progress, continue making progress. Instead of trying to change how others feel, change how much power you give those feelings over your life. The most successful people rarely waste time proving themselves. They simply keep moving. Emotionally strong people do not become arrogant, but they also do not become smaller to make others comfortable. This balance is difficult. Many people respond to envy in one of two ways. They either attack back or they apologize for succeeding. Both are mistakes. Strong people choose a third path. They remain respectful, but they remain confident. they continue treating others with dignity, without sacrificing their own. They understand that shrinking will never solve resentment, because people who are determined to feel threatened will find reasons anyway. Instead, they focus on consistency, they let their actions speak, they stay calm when criticized, they stay grounded when praised, and they refuse to let other people's emotional reactions control their direction. True confidence is not the ability to silence critics. It is the ability to continue growing while critics exist. That is real power. Not domination, not superiority, but stability. The ability to remain yourself regardless of how others respond. One of the hardest tests comes when success changes your position, especially when you are suddenly leading people who once stood beside you. Friends become co-workers become subordinates, and expectations become complicated. Many leaders make the mistake of trying to remain everyone's favorite person, but respect and popularity are not the same thing. If you show favoritism, you lose credibility. If you avoid difficult decisions, you lose authority. The solution is simple, but not easy. Be fair, be consistent, be clear, treat everyone with respect, but hold everyone to the same standards. The strongest leaders do not demand loyalty. They earn trust, not through charisma, not through control, but through integrity. People may not always like your decisions, but they will eventually respect the consistency behind them. And in the long run, respect lasts much longer than approval. The uncomfortable truth is this: success reveals people, not just you, everyone around you. Some relationships become stronger, some become weaker, some disappear completely. And while that can be painful, it is also valuable. Because clarity is a gift. When people show you who they become when you succeed, pay attention, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. You do not need everyone to celebrate your growth. You only need the courage to continue growing. Some people will admire you, some will envy you, some will misunderstand you, and some will quietly leave your life. Let them. Your responsibility is not to manage every reaction. Your responsibility is to keep becoming the person you were meant to become. Because the goal was never to be liked by everyone. The goal was to build a life you are proud of. And sometimes, success comes with a surprising cost. But if that cost is revealing who truly supports you and who does not, it may be worth paying. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below and tell us. Have you ever noticed people change after you started succeeding? And if you enjoy exploring human psychology, emotional strength, self-respect, and quiet power, subscribe and join us. There is much more ahead, and the next lesson may arrive sooner than you think.